Okay, so today we're tying a fly that I like to call the Troutbomber. It is a variant on a fly that was tied by Jack Gartside, also known for tying a fly called the Gurgler, Jack Gartside. Anyway, he tied a fly called the soft hackle streamer, and this uses marabou and mallard flank that is wrapped. And with this variant, I'm going to use some palmered chenille. So let's get started. In the vise, we have a number 6 Orvis 4X streamer hook, and it has a black 5/32 bead. We're going to use UTC Blue Dun 140 denier thread. So I'm going to start with a base. I have the bead on already. I'm just going to leave it loose there because I'm going to want to move it a little bit at the end. So I'm going to tie on down to the bend of the hook, almost to the bend of the hook, a little bit past the point. Okay, the next step. I like to tie these simple flies that are quick to tie and effective. So I already have in a clip 2 marabou feathers. The top one is gray, the bottom one's white, as you can see. So these are arranged. I'm going to tie them in together. I like them about the length of the hook shank. But you know, marabou is compressible, so we're going to pinch down. Marabou is compressible, so you can put on a lot actually if you like. And I'm going to trim off that excess. So this is going to be the tail. Tie down those butts. All right, next step is to tie in some silver with this pattern, silver crystal flash. I like silver with this gray and white pattern. So I'm going to start this way. You can trim it off later, but I'm going to put one in, make a wrap, second wrap, fold it over, and I'm going to do both sides that way. It just has to be approximate right now. I'm going to trim that, and we could trim it down later. So I like to use this pattern on the Wissahickon Creek, and it's been great for smallmouth and in particular trout. Couple wraps and then we'll secure them. Pin that down. And we'll be ready for the next step, which is the medium palmer chenille. So in this case, it's gray pearl, medium gray pearl palmer chenille. And as you can see, it's kind of wild, it's reflective, and it moves some water. So when I tie this in, though, I don't like to rip these fibers off because the end of this is elastic and it'll unravel. So what I do is just cut these. That's what I suggest you do. Just cut the end so that you get some free space to tie in. You may be able to just tie in on the actual chenille itself, but it's slippery, so I just like to do that and tie in on the thread part. As long as you're getting mostly thread, you should be all right. So we're gonna tie that in this way. Should be nice and secure. And I'm gonna bring this pretty much down to about a little, like maybe so that the bead is about a half a bead's width away from the eye of the hook, so I can tie in a head later and have room. So that's about how far I'm going to go there. And actually I'm going to bring it back a little bit, because after we tie in this this palmer chenille, that's when the mallard flank comes in. It's gonna wrap over this and kind of camouflage it a bit. So I'm going to start wrapping. As you wrap, you want this to lay back as much as possible. So we're just going to push it back as we go. And be careful with the hook. That's a sharp hook there. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to tie that off. 1, 2. Cut. Okay, so the next step is mallard flank. So you're going to tie this in at the base. I've already stripped off all the fuzzy fibers at the bottom, and I go right about where it gets smaller. So you kind of want to tie this at an angle. Not quite perpendicular, maybe 45-degree angle. But you want the cup side down so that when it wraps, these fibers are going to tend to wrap around the fly. So you can see this should wrap pretty good this way. Get some nice coverage. So let's do this. Better to do it this way here, like this, since I'm wrapping that way. So I kind of want to tease it a little bit. You can kind of bend it. You got to be careful. I mean, it's pretty thick right there. It's probably not going to break, but you just got to be careful. So let's snip off that stem. And we're going to tease these fibers down like so. I'm going to secure that tip there, just like so. It's a little unruly at first, but you'll see when I take that off. Sometimes you can actually just work that in too. Instead of cutting that, just work it into the fly. So let's do that. Yeah, I don't like that extra material. Oh, if we do that, that might work. So you can make a little head here. It looks pretty good. Okay, next I'm gonna whip finish this head right here, and then we're gonna put another mallard flank feather at the end here. Hopefully I have enough room. I think I pushed it forward a little bit, but let's see what we can do. It's going to be possible. So that will complete the fly. Okay, so that actually is as far as I'm going to go with this fly. The bead actually moved a little too far forward. I had planned to put another mallard flank in front of this, which camouflages the bead as well, but that doesn't have to be done. This is you get the general idea. You can tie in the bead and then put a little dam there so it doesn't move before you actually start tying, and then you can actually camouflage that bead with another mallard flank feather. But I'm just going to leave it the way it is. This is the Troutbomber. It's effective. I like to fish it, basically it's a streamer pattern, and I'll cast it into the current and mend line so that the fly changes levels, and then I'll swing it around and entice the fish that way. So give it a try. It's effective. They really like this flashy inner part, and the marabou and the mallard flank go well together. So give it a try. Thanks for watching.